and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackel. Tonight we are talking the biggest political story in recent weeks in the New Orleans metro area. That involves embattled parish president from Jefferson, Mike Yenny, and the scandal that he is dealing with. We have two guests tonight. Robbie Evans, the man who filed the recall petition, and well-known political strategist Karen Carvin. First off, thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
First off, let's get to the recall petition.
Yes.
Robbie, you filed it last week. About 90,000 signatures are needed for this to go through. Do you think that can happen?
Absolutely can believe it can happen. In fact, we have over 1,000 signatures today, and we filed it yesterday, just to be clear, where we got permission from the Secretary of State to start collecting. And I brought just an example of what we're doing is we have the binders with the petition recall, and this is one with 2 signatures on it. And these are spread throughout the parish. So with today's technology, with the YouTubing and the Facebook and the Twitter and all of the today technology, it's easy to access and get these petitions to people for signing and submitting. So I think 90,000, 91,000 is easy, especially since our recent call that we're going to try to do a campaign day, which is going to be really interesting. You know, with the interest in the presidential vote, people going out on election day to vote, we're going to have a couple of hundred volunteers at tables with signs that say, recall Yenny, and they know it'll be 600 feet away from the polls as is required, but they'll have a chance to stop by if they so choose and sign. And I think we could possibly knock all 90,000 out in one day.
That's an optimistic look at it. Before I ask you this next question, let me point this out. We did reach out to Mike Yenny and representatives from his camp and invited them to be here. They all declined. Also, several members of the Jefferson Parish Council who have called for his resignation have declined. Why are you doing this? Why ask for Mike Yenny's recall?
The day the story broke, my children were watching the news with me and heard it, had questions for me, were disturbed by it, didn't understand it, and put me in a very difficult position. And as an attorney and familiarity with the process, I knew that I was somebody who could do it and get it done. And because at some point in society, if you're going to have goodness and moralities, you have to draw a line sometimes. So I couldn't, in good faith to my kids and to the community, sit by and do nothing, knowing that I had the full capability of doing something and doing it successfully. So I'm doing this solely. I just feel like morally I am required to step up and do this. You've heard the sayings by many authors, but it's all boils down to if you get apathetic or do nothing, you're as guilty as, you know, somebody being active and doing wrong. So I think we absolutely need to step forward and do it, and I took that stand. People talked about it, and I didn't see anybody taking the action, so I thought it was a must.
Hang tight, because we're going to talk more about this, but let's turn to Karen. People in political circles know you well. You've done this for a very long time when it comes to working campaigns, advising candidates on how to do, how to act, what to say at sometimes. How do you think everything has been handled so far? After this broke, Mike Yenny missed a council meeting. Then he put out a 1-minute commercial where he admitted to improperly texting a teenage male. How do you think everything has been handled from a political standpoint so far?
I would have to say this is a textbook case of everything not to do in a political crisis. I have been absolutely amazed every step of the way at seeing how it has been, in my opinion, mishandled. You know, we all know from watching politics, whether on a local level or on a national level.
Everybody's glued to the national politics right now.
Right.
But it trickles down to the locals.
It does. And we all know that, you know, one of the worst things that can happen in a scandal is to be behind the scandal instead of in front of the scandal. And a lot of times what takes a politician down, even with egregious charges, is sometimes the, quote, cover-up. Now, I'm not suggesting there was a cover-up here. I'm just suggesting that I think that if I had been advising Mr. Yenny and knew about the situation and knew that he was going to have to admit to the allegations, I think he should have come forward of his own accord before it was broken by the press, held a press conference, explained what had happened, what he was doing about it, take responsibility, seek treatment, whatever advice, whatever he would need to do to try to. It may not have saved him anyway, because I think ultimately I don't see really how he withstands this crisis. But certainly to be behind the story is never a good thing in politics.
So the Jefferson Parish Council, almost every other elected official in that parish, as well as city councils in West Wego and Gretna, and possibly even more in that parish in the next couple of days, have called for, and we here will continue to call for, the resignation of Mike Yenny. A lot of people use this example. In 2007, U.S. Senator, soon to be outgoing U.S. Senator David Vitter, found himself wrapped up in a scandal. He admitted to a serious sin and then went back to D.C., but he did win re-election. A lot of people ask this question: can Mike Yenny, who's admitted to now making a mistake, he says it wasn't professional, it was a personal matter, are they hoping to take a page out of the David Vitter playbook where you admit to something and then hope it's behind you and you can go on and be successful? Is that their best case scenario?
That may be what they are thinking, but I think that would be a mistake on their part, because in David Vitter's case, he had support. He had political support behind him after he came out and admitted what he had done. There is not a single person that I have heard in politics or really elsewhere who has spoken up for Mike Yenny, not a single individual. So there's absolutely no support for him to stay in office. If he by some chance would manage to stay out the term, he certainly would never be able to be reelected. I don't see his ability to raise any money. And to be the face of Jefferson Parish, as a parish president is, you have to be able to be out in the community, attending all the events and lobbying for the parish, both for business and economic development and all of those things. And I think he's completely crippled at this point in being able to do that. So it's way beyond a personal matter.
Right, and also to point this out, if you could touch on this, and like I said, Robbie, we're going to get back to you in a second, but if you could touch on this, David Vitter admitted to committing a serious sin. In Mike Yenny's televised speech, he admitted to a little bit more than that, obviously. He admitted to communicating, as he put it, improperly with a teenage male. Is that interesting to you that they use that kind of language and didn't just use a blanket statement like David Vitter did back in the day and say serious sin?
I just think the whole idea of the tape message was a mistake. I mean, I think that to have a tape message and then leave town the next day or the day after, was quite very quickly there around there, was just a public relations mistake of the highest order. I mean, the only thing to do is to address this, you have to answer the questions. I actually never seen this sort of tape message before, and then I saw it Friday night after Trump was caught in the Access Hollywood story, and I thought, what's going on here? We've got like two tape messages going out there that are not really addressing how serious these allegations are. So, and I think that the context of the message where he talked about that I was, old enough to know better, but
young enough to still make a mistake, I believe,
would
is what he
be
said.
hard for a lot of people to buy when he is a 40-year-old man. Not a 22-year-old man.
Former mayor of a large city in Jefferson Parish.
And in fact, he did not make the full admission. What he said was, I made a serious mistake and I regret it. What he did not say is, I admit I kissed this young man who was a minor in a bathroom. I gave him designer underwear and I encouraged him to bring along other young male individuals to participate. What he did was try to limit it to a sexting one incident, when it really is his lifestyle is something different than of a normal marriage, that he's represented himself as a family man.
Let me ask you this. Is part of the recall effort that you're touching on the fact that Mike Yenny and his people in his camp have said, look, this is a personal matter between him and his wife. It has nothing to do with him being the parish president in Jefferson, but he was elected almost 1 year ago and he ran on certain platforms with certain values under certain circumstances. Does that strike a chord with people where they feel like, hey, you may not be the guy that we voted for 12 months ago?
Well, certainly, if we think about the big picture, he was born Michael Menoir, and his father has a colored past of misdeeds, and he took advantage of the family name and adopted Yenny, knowing that he would seek office at one point. So he changed his name to use the good Yenny name. But to call it a personal issue is, I think, so far off, because who he presented himself to be is not who he is. He is a totally different person than who he says he is.
Final question for you, Karen, because a lot of people in politics in your field have been playing armchair quarterback on this one. A lot of us play armchair quarterback on Mondays after the Saints games. A lot of political strategists in South Louisiana have played armchair quarterback on this one. What do you think the next step is? We have a council meeting coming up this week. We heard that some other cities in Jefferson could call for the resignation. Obviously, he's firm. He's not resigning. He did his self-imposed suspension of Jefferson Parish schools going near there. The Archdiocese has essentially asked him not to come on any of their campuses for the time being. But what is the next step politically if you're not involved in this, but if you had a crystal ball or you could do something, what is the next step? What does he do from here?
Well, I mean, I think he should resign because I just don't think it's a salvageable situation. As I said, I think if he'd been ahead of the story, maybe. Even then, it's a long shot. But under the circumstances that exist, I think the next pivotal day is Wednesday, the council meeting, because that's really the first time he's going to have to face a public gathering where the public is able to come, and there'll be an open mic and they'll be able to speak.
Public comment section.
Absolutely. And I think that is going to be a pivotal day for him. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be making a whole lot of money somewhere else. But you know, I think that if there is the momentum is there and there's a real consensus of public opinion, it is going to be hard to continue to hide out and stonewall and dig in for this long siege that's ahead of him. And I think that ultimately, you know, hopefully, I think for the good of Jefferson Parish and the ability for the parish to move forward and get the business of the people done, he should resign. Whether he'll do that or not, you know, remains to be seen. But I do think Wednesday will be a really important day to watch in terms of how the public, how much of the public comes out, how they react, what they say.
I agree.
Because all of the political establishment has called for the resignation.
I know. I wish we could talk more about this. We are out of time. It seems like we could talk the whole half hour about this. But Karen Carvin, political strategist, Robbie Evans, filed the recall petition, which is ongoing right now. We appreciate your time. And once again, we did invite Mike Yenny or any representative from his camp to participate in this discussion, and they did decline. We will continue to cover this ongoing story in Jefferson Parish. For now, that's all for the hot seat. I'm Travers Mackel. Adriana, let's send it back to you at the news desk.